Welcome. Plain type sometimes looks plain, especially in titles and headlines, but it doesn't have to be that way. So, I'm going to show you a great way to add a simple editable effect to add that 3D pop to your type. All this magic is going to happen inside the appearance window using transform and offset path. Know these effects and how to layer fills and strokes, and you are good to go. In this piece, we're going to use Times New Roman, the most standard of all typefaces, but this effect works well with almost any typeface. All right, let's go ahead and learn a great and easy way to add emphasis to your type. Let's go. All right, let's get started. First thing I'm going to mention is that we're using the Essentials Classic workspace. The reason we use this workspace is because it makes visible all the tools that we plan on using. Plus, it's a great teaching workspace. In order to switch over to the Essentials Classic workspace, all you need to do is go up to your Workspaces button, select that, and scroll down to Essentials Classic. Now, if you want to use your own workspace, by all means do so. We'll share the tools with you to complete this tutorial either way. Another worthwhile note is our artboard is set to 1,000 points by 1,000 points. That gives us plenty of room to easily create our piece with plenty of room around it. Now, with that being said, let's get started. First thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and grab our type tool and let's click anywhere on our artboard. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to write the word trust. Let's make that first T a capital T. Once we're done with that, let's double click on the word and let's change the type and size. The way we're going to do that is we're going to open up our character panel. Anywhere in your workspace where the word character is visible, go ahead and click on that and we can get started. Of course, you can use the top bar if it's visible, but what the heck, let's use this one instead. First thing we're going to do is we're going to change our typeface from Myriad Pro or whatever you're using to Times New Roman. Just write that in and see what comes up. We're going to be using Times New Roman regular. Next thing we're going to do, let's go ahead and change our type size from 12 points or whatever that is to 200 points. Hit enter, and as you can see, the character panel goes away and our type is changed and scaled just like that. Let's go ahead and center our type. That's going to help us along down the road. What we can do is we can open up our paragraph panel by clicking on the paragraph word right on our top bar. Of course, you can go to Window, scroll down to Type, and then select Paragraph or Alt-Control-T. Now that we've got that done once again, let's go ahead and open up our paragraph panel and let's center it from there. Next, let's grab our selection tool and let's drag our word to the center of our artboard just like that. Or of course, what we can do is we can use our align tool. Again, this is on our top bar right here, but if you want to select the align window, all you need to do is go to Window, Align, or Shift F7, and that align window will pop up right there. I'm going to use my top bar. Let's align center horizontally and let's align center vertically just like that. Now that we've got that set, let's get into the blood and guts of our tutorial. Now, with our word selected, let's go ahead and zoom into it just a little bit. Let's hit Control plus twice. Let's get in nice and close and let's go. First thing we're going to do is let's open up our appearance window. Here's how you do it. If you're using the Essentials Classic workspace, all you need to do is go right down to your right toolbar and select that right there. Of course, you can go Window, Appearance as well. Now, once you've got that open, let's add two new fills. Here's how you do it. You're going to go to the bottom of your appearance window and click twice on your fill button right there. Notice we've added two fills. They're stacked on top of each other. We're going to leave the bottom fill alone. Notice that that's set to a default black. We're going to use that down the road to change the color of our fill. Now with our top fill, all you need to do is double click that, and then let's change that fill color to white. Close your color window just like that. Notice what happens is that the white almost completely obscures the black. Don't worry about that. This is going to be our highlight color. We're going to use effects to change the size and position of that color starting now. Now, with our type still selected and our white fill selected, let's go down to the bottom of our appearance window and select effects. First thing we're going to do is let's go to Path and select Offset Path. What this is going to do is it's going to create an offsetting path around our shape. Notice the offset default is at 10 pixels. Let's arrow that down to -7. We're using our directional keys to do this. Additionally, you can just write it on in. -7 isn't quite enough. However, if I go to -8, it's just a little bit too much. So what I'm doing right now is I'm changing it to -7.5 and hitting enter. We've got a perfect highlight right there. and you can see how easy it is to add a basic highlight just like that. Now, a quick word on offset. If we want to change our offset path, all we need to do is select that, and then we can make any changes from here. One thing about our offset path that is, again, worth noting is, of course, we've got the size of our offset, and also we've got our joins. Notice our joins are set to miter right now. If we change our joins, the offset changes. Note we'll jump from miter to round, and once I click on it, take a look at the top of our T, the bottom of our U, or the top left of our R. You'll notice it changes slightly. Additionally, if we change it from round to bevel, those changes in those same places get a little bit more extreme. Now, use the join that you want. In my opinion, miter join works best. I'm going to leave it just like that. Now let's continue. Now our highlight looks good, but it's just a little too perfect and a little too center. How do we knock that off center? Well, again, with our fill selected, let's go back to Effects. Let's go to Distort and Transform and select Transform. Once our Transform Effect window pops up, let's tab down to our Move. If we change our horizontal shift to -2, watch what happens. It shifts slightly off to the left, and you can see that slight imperfection actually improves our highlight. Let's go down to Vertical and shift our vertical move to 2. Notice that that positive number shifted our highlight down just a little bit. Let's go ahead and click OK. Let's go ahead and deselect our type. And just like that, we've created a great highlight for our text, and it's given a whole new personality to Times New Roman. Let's go ahead and give it just a little bit more personality as we go. First thing we're going to do is, how do you change the color of your type? Let's go ahead and select it, and let's do that right now. With our type selected, let's go to our black fill, the fill right underneath our white, and let's double click on that. With our color panel open, all you need to do is select whatever color you want. You can either select one of the standard colors or, of course, craft a custom color just like that. In this case, we're going to go with the standard color, and we're going to select a mid-blue. Let's click anywhere on our artboard to close out that panel. Let's click one more time to deselect our type. And there you go. With Times New Roman, we've given it a whole new personality by adding that simple highlight. Now let's modify the type and modify the highlight as well. First thing we're going to do is let's select our type one more time, and then let's see what we can do to modify our type. The way we do that, let's go ahead and open up our character panel, and then we can change our type to anything we want. In this case, I'll click on the drop down, I'll select a fitting type. In this case, I'll select Futura Extra Black. I'll click and release on that. Let's go ahead and deselect that and close out our panel and take a look at what it looks like. Now, while this effect works in almost any type, I like Times New Roman just a little bit more, so I'm going to undo that. And then let's continue. Now, what about changing caps in this type? Well, let's go ahead and open up our character panel once again, and then let's scroll down about 2/3 of the way down. We can go all caps. That looks pretty good. Let's go small caps, see what that looks like. I like that as well. Let's go ahead and keep it right there. Let's close our character panel by clicking on the artboard once again. Let's click one more time and take a look at what we've got there. That looks really good as well. Now, since we're talking about type, how about changing our words? Now, recall that we did not outline or expand our type, so this is still editable type. So if we want to change our word, piece of cake, all you need to do is select your type tool, double click on your word, and let's change our word from trust to frost. Once again, let's grab our selection tool, let's click anywhere on our artboard, deselect, and there you go. That's how easy it is. Let's talk about just modifying that highlight just a little bit. And of course, changing the scale of this as well. Let's start with modifying our highlight. To start, let's go ahead and select our type one more time with our selection tool, and then let's change our highlight. First, let's go ahead and double click on the color, and notice how easily we can change the fill color. I can go from white to black to maybe a dark blue, and you can see it right there, to anything we want. In this case, though, I'm going to go right back to white. Simple as that. Let's click on our artboard, and let's do one more thing. What if the white is just a little bit too strong and we want to kind of make it a little bit more subtle? The way we change that is we change the opacity. In this case, all you need to do is click on your opacity and change the opacity for whatever you want. In this case, I'm going to leave my opacity style to normal, but you can explore any of those. And let's change the opacity percentage from 100 to perhaps 60%. Let's hit enter, close out that panel, and notice right away once we deselect our type that we've changed it and we've made that word frost just a little bit more subtle. Now, what if we want to scale our type and effect? What you need to use is your scale tool, however. If you just scale your type, your effect will likely not scale along with it. So here's how you do that. First, let's go ahead and close out our appearance window. We're done with that. Let's select our type, and then let's double click on scale. Once our scale window opens up, we're ready to change the scale. But before we do, in order to scale our fill and effect, what we need to do is we need to go down to options, select scale strokes and effects, and now we're ready to change the scale. In this case, let's go ahead and change it to 150%. Let's hit enter. Let's grab our selection tool and let's deselect our type. And one last thing, let's bring the entire page into view. And there we go. And now with a couple more steps, you can see not only what we've done, but the impact of the type that we've made. Now that we're all set and sorted with that, last words, we are done. Nice job. Now, like I said, this effect works great with almost any typeface. Play with it, see what works best, and then showcase what you've got. With that being said, comment, like, subscribe, and then check out some of my other videos. I promise they'll help you out. We'll see you next time. Peace.